Hi, everybody. It's Father Bob Gross here. Good to be with all of you. We are heading into the 21st Sunday of Ordinary Time. This is the last weekend before school starts, so enjoy your last days of summer, boys and girls. Thursday is the first day of school, so we want to pray for our students, for our teachers, for our administrators as we begin another school year. Today's going to be a little shorter homily. I'll be addressing the parish finances for the last year, so that's why the homily is a little bit shorter here this weekend. The readings this weekend are Isaiah chapter 66, 18 to 21, Psalm 117, the letter to the Hebrews chapter 12, verses 5, and then verses 11 through 13, and then Luke chapter 13, 22 to 30. You can look for the readings on usccb.org, usccb.org. Here is the homily. Listen very closely. No. Right. Just this last week, the CFS school board was meeting, and one of the things the board had to approve was the student handbook. The handbook is the document that governs the life of the school. And one of the discussions that we had was the student handbook and how we should handle students handing out birthday party invitations in classrooms. We changed the handbook to reflect that if invitations are going to be passed out in class, they need to be passed out to every student in the classroom. If a student does not receive an invitation, the parents must find another way to invite the children to the birthday party. You can quickly see why this change was made. The fact of being excluded is very hard for children. It's a hard experience for adults as well. That's one of the most awkward moments in an adult conversation, right? It's when you speak about a wedding that you are invited to, and then you realize that one of the people you thought were going to be invited didn't receive an invitation. Awkward. Being chosen can give confidence and acceptance and the knowledge of being loved and cherished. Being chosen is one of the most important themes in the whole Bible. You hear about the chosen people, the people of Israel, how God chose this little band, a little nation to reveal his glory. You hear in the New Testament how in baptism we are chosen by God. You would hear it in the language of the baptismal rite that we are claimed by Christ our Savior. We talk about being chosen when it comes to discovering our personal vocation. God chose me to be a priest. God chose you to be married. God chose you to be a religious sister or brother. God chose you to do a particular mission in life. But is being chosen enough? That's the question of Jesus today. That is the question of the scriptures today. In fact, that has been the perennial question for the people of Israel. And today, briefly, I want to look at what it means to be chosen by God. Does being chosen by God mean that you are better than everyone else? Does being chosen by God mean that you are more lovable than other people? Does being chosen by God mean that you have a greater responsibility for the life of the world? In the first reading of Isaiah, we see how God is pushing the envelope of the chosen people. Israel is chosen by God, but for the sake of attracting the nations of the world to the Lord. Even though Israel is chosen among the nations, it's not for the sake of being chosen. In the gospel, we hear what was on the minds of people in Jesus' day. Today, Jesus hears the question, Lord, will only a few people be saved? The question points to being chosen. If you are saved, then you are chosen. So is being saved based on being chosen by God and that's it? Or do we have to live a certain way in order to fulfill God's choice of us being in relationship with him? Jesus' answer is this: strive to enter through the narrow gate. For many, I tell you, will attempt to enter, but will not be strong enough. Another way of understanding Jesus' words is this: do not rest on your laurels. Do not rest on the past achievements. Do not rest on the past. You must strive today. You must long for salvation today. You must never stop moving forward in the life of faith. I think that's a particularly poignant message for our 4 parishes. Each of our parishes have long and proud histories of faith. When you look back and see what God has done in each of our parishes, a little swelling of pride can happen in our hearts. But I think sometimes, though, we only think it happened in the past. I hear many times parishioners say, we had so many sisters, so many nuns, so many priests, so many people going to church in the past. It doesn't seem like the same Catholic Church that I knew as a child. Sometimes the people of my generation, I'm 36, faith has taken such a second or third seat that we typically approach the church when we need a sacrament or something specific in our lives that we desire. But on the other occasions of life, we feel pretty comfortable living a life apart from faith in the church. Jesus' reply to those sentiments is this: it doesn't have to be like that. As I called many men and women to religious vocations, I can still do the same today. Strive to enter the narrow gate. As there were many people who had come to Mass in the past, it can still happen today. Strive to enter through the narrow gate. As we have had strong Catholic education in the past, we can have it now, today. Strive to enter through the narrow gate. As we have had heroes of faith yesterday, we can have heroes of faith today, from young to old. Strive to enter the narrow gate. Jesus calls us not just to rest on that we have been chosen by him. He calls us to live lives that show to the world that being in relationship with him is the greatest gift that you can receive in life. So to close, I want to end with this one fact. Virtually every time we come to Mass, we read from the letters of St. Paul. And one of the communities that Paul founded was in Corinth, Greece. Corinth was one of the first communities that accepted the faith of Jesus. Just think, the great St. Paul. Now I want to ask you, do you think that the community that Paul founded is still active today in Greece? Well, the answer is no. You cannot find the church in the community that Paul founded. We don't know all the historical reasons for that, but it does put one point very clearly. Do not rest on your laurels. We live in a new now. We have to live our faith now. Let us strive to do that with all our heart. Strive to enter through the narrow gate, for many, I tell you, will attempt to enter, but will not be strong enough. God will make us strong enough if we but strive. Let us strive to live more generously our lives of faith. Thanks for listening. Have a great day, and see you in church in Fairway. Bye-bye.